Anyway, interrupt anytime, ask any questions, and we'll talk about it. What I was talking about last time was plumbing fixtures, and I got a chance to interact with some odd ones this week. Matter of fact, this week has been a all over the place kind of week. This started off the week, finish up some electrical in a barn dominium type thing, where a guy had his house burn. It was a barn type, and then he built a new metal building. He had me come in and do the electrical, the plumbing. So anyway, we finished up the electrical and put in ceiling fans, and then so they could have light inside there. And he wanted to put plywood up, not your chipboard, but plywood that now costs about $30 something a sheet. Except he got it for 15 because it's all seconds, so that caused issues. But anyway, we got where it would have hung drywall, we put that plywood up, and then we went to work on the next day. I think we worked on beginning of the day with a got the name of it's a fifth wheel that the slide out wouldn't come out, so we had to work at that to get it to come out. They had opened it up with one, didn't know they had a lock for each side, and the other side stayed locked, and it got that rectangle all cockeyed in there. And it was a competitor with Airstream. I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me when I'm not wanting to know. I don't care. Anyway, we went from there. We repaired a metal roof because we had some winds that hit 90 mile an hour. Actually had 2 tornadoes touch down fairly close. Didn't do a whole lot of damage, but it knocked down a bunch of big trees and it tore up just a little bit of the metal on the trim of this house. It didn't take us very long to fix. We fixed that. Then we went over to Eureka Springs and worked on a motel to start with. We were, let's see, we fixed what they call PTAC units, which are the individual units in each room, and we put 2 heaters in, two different setups, and then we put a fan motor in one, and we then went to work on fire alarm system. Couldn't figure out why the fire alarm wasn't working. It didn't have power to it, so I tracked it down, found out that it was in the panel. Somebody just took wires and put a wire knot on there, did hook them up. So whenever the fire inspector came by and said, hey, you got to have these working, took a little bit to track it down through all the conduit and figure out which wire, because they changed colors inside the conduit from one place to the other. And then I went on to working on a toilet, fixing it, and there was a few other little things, at that motel. So we finished up that day there. And then the next day, we drove up to Cassville, and we installed supply lines for a mobile home. Oh, first thing is I re-leveled it because the gentleman that put it in there had some idea, but he didn't have it level from one side to the other. It was about a 1/2 inch off, 3/4. And he didn't put any pier pads, which is 4 inch by 16 by 16, and there weren't none available in the town. It would cost a lot of money to pay us to drive into a town that would have them. So we put cap blocks or half pads, which are 4 by 8 by 16, 2 of them crossways, and then put the blocks over them, and that solved it. Re-leveled it all. Then we did the supply lines. Then we did the sewer lines, and went inside and fixed water leaks and electrical problems. So we did that. And then we went back over to a motor home and put in a controller. A controller is sort of like a battery charger. It changes 110 to 12 volt, and it charges the batteries. And the inverter takes 12 volt and turns it into 110. So you got an inverter and a controller. Controller is 110 to 12, and inverter is 12 to 110. So we had to, then we fixed the rooftop air on those things. It was quite a journey. Fixed a bunch of things, radio, and on and on and on. So it's kind of off the charts, a lot of different things. And it'll be this next week, be the same thing.